there was one case of autism healed recently, and I wanted to comment on that because we have seen several cases of autism healed, and in that there were a couple of cases that I had actually ministered to, but also some that were ministered to by other JGLM ministers out there. And I wanted to comment on that for just a minute because there's many times, well, let me back up a bit. Autism is basically seen as a spectrum. In other words, there's a wide range of symptoms and different characteristics. And a person can be mildly autistic and to where you would barely notice. And then it would go all the way to the other extreme where it is a severe case of autism where they are non-functioning and cannot relate at all and have no interaction, many times don't even recognize that you're present. Now, I will admit, any of that spectrum is horrific, and it is heart-rending, heartbreaking. And so whenever you see these cases, now the cases that we've seen healed, those cases have been healed in different ways. So we can't give you a method per se to say, here's what you do. Now we do that and it works, but when it comes to autism and almost every disease, when people start ministering, they learn, and many times they're even led by the Spirit, and they don't even know they're being led to minister a certain way. But we have seen people healed of autism that were healed when they were prayed for. Somebody prayed, maybe they commanded, be healed in Jesus' name, autism, go, command the symptoms to go, whatever it is. And the child, usually that's what we deal with many times as children, and the child is healed by that prayer. Now, other times, and honestly, what has been more often the case, to be honest with you, is that whenever the cases that were healed and set free whenever a person literally went after it and approached it as a demonic spirit. And so whenever they literally, quote unquote, cast the devil out of the child, then the child was set free and was made normal. So we've seen the full spectrum. Now, we've seen people healed both ways. And so now here's the thing. Since autism is a spectrum and is not just a set thing that is caused the same way every time and works out the same way every time, then it would only be natural that there would be different ways to minister to it. Now, the problem is people say, okay, well then how do I know how to minister to this one? Well, most of the time, the Holy Spirit will lead you and you'll catch yourself saying things or doing things a certain way, and that will be the leading of the Spirit. Now, many times, if you've had results in certain areas, then you will minister that way because of your faith, because your faith can be released as you minister that way. That's all right too. The main thing is that you get the results for that child or that person that you set them free. Now, autism, there can be several, how can I say it, catalysts or whatever it is that cause autism to actually start to, for a child to get autism or to become autistic. And I know there's all kinds of controversy over this. I'm not trying to get into the controversy, but I will say this. We have ministered to a lot of people with autism, and we have associates in JGLM that have ministered to a lot of people with autism. And so there's a wide range of things, but by far, when you start looking at common denominators, by far the most common denominator that we have found that go along with all of the people that were autistic that we've dealt with, we have yet to deal with any autistic person that had not received vaccinations. The vaccinations seem to be the catalyst, especially in male children, excuse me, especially in male children, to trigger the actual symptoms. Now, people say, well, if it's a devil, how's that? Okay, I'm kind of trying to get to that, and I know I won't be able to cover much, but I want you to realize the devil works in areas of weakness. If there is an opening, if there's a weakness, some kind of a chink in your armor, so to speak, that will allow the enemy to be able to exploit that weakness, he will move into that area and then move from that. So he goes in through the weakness and then grows stronger after he gets in. Well, there's a lot of examples I could use, but bottom line is that usually we have seen that it's been vaccines. Now, when it's not, and again, we don't know of anybody that we've dealt with autism that had not received vaccinations. However, I will say this. I'm not saying that a child without vaccinations will not become autistic. I'm saying that what seems to trigger a lot of the autistic characteristics is an overabundance of mercury and lead in a child's system, and many times before they're born even, because of the things that a mother may ingest or whatever it is, many times will get into that developing child's brain. It is too much mercury and lead in a child's brain, or heavy metals in the brain, that seems to cause a lot of the functioning or dysfunctions that take place there. Now, and we have seen case records of people in the natural, not even faith-based people, but people in the natural that had their child go through processes that help detox the child from mercury and lead, especially the heavy metals like that, and the child will have marked improvement. And generally, when we see things like this, if a child has marked improvement but not total healing, then usually we would say, okay, well, obviously the marked improvement was through the removal of the heavy metals, and then whatever's left over would be a demonic spirit that would be exploiting that situation. And so in that case, you could actually begin to pray that these toxins, that these heavy metals would be detoxed out of the child's body. Now that can be done, believe it or not, it can be done through prayer. You can command that stuff to leave the body, and it will leave the body. It can be done through a fasting process, where the child is or that they fast regularly, and that you start eliminating certain foods that would cause that to come in. And a lot of times they will have an overabundance of foods that will have pesticides and things like that, and they were not washed beforehand. So there's a lot of reasons for this. Now, regardless, and this is the main point, regardless of how it got there, God can heal them. And so we want to remind you that. Now, in most cases, now we've seen a couple of cases, the cases where the child was delivered or healed by casting out a devil, then that was an instantaneous thing, and the child was instantly made better and could converse and do all the things, and you could tell that they were healed. That's that situation. The cases where it seems to be more metal-based or vaccination-based, which is also metal-based because of the stuff that was in the vaccination, when that happens, many times, and you're praying, if you're going to do it through prayer, then you're going to do it, it has to be consistent. And you have to do it consistently on a daily basis. And very honestly, this is a hard part, because most people are just not consistent. Most people will not consistently do what needs to be done. They want instant. It's kind of sad, because most of the time they didn't get in that condition instantly, but they want to get out of that condition instantly. And so they want it to be instant, and they don't want to do what needs to be done to systematically remove the toxins and the things from the body. And especially when you first start, you might not see a lot of changes quickly. As a matter of fact, it can take a period of time before you see any change. But then when you reach a certain level of the toxins leaving the body, then you will start to see differences in the child's behavior. Now, as I said, you can do the same thing through some natural means where they try to detox and all these things. But here's the key. If it's not purely demonically based, if it is more vaccination based, if it's more heavy metal based, then it's one of the problems with that, or one of the struggles in it, you might say, is that you are commanding these things to leave that child's body. Now, you can do that because if you can speak to this mountain and tell it, be removed and be thou cast in the sea, and it'll obey you, then lead will do the same thing, and mercury will do the same thing. Whatever you call out, it will move from one place to another. So you can command mercury, you will leave this child's body in Jesus' name, and you will do it now. And then you begin to do that on a regular basis, consistently doing this. Now, whenever you do that, and you're commanding it to come out, you may notice it in body odors on the child, because sometimes it'll come out through the pores and it'll come out through the skin, and so you'll notice a different smell that will come from the child. Other times it may come out in the child's feces, that as they use the bathroom, that it will just be come out through their body, expelled through the body, through the fecal matter. And so you may notice a difference in the child's feces, even in color, texture, that kind of thing. And you'll notice that there's a difference. Now, here's the thing, though. If you're going to be doing that, and if that's what you need to do, then that's what you need to do. And if you're going to be doing that, you're fighting, you're making the battle drawn out if you don't cut off the things that are also putting the metals into the body on a daily basis. In other words, if you're eating certain foods that, like I said, with pesticides and not washing it, then yes, it may be leaving the body, but more is coming out. So the first thing is to, as we'd say in the military and the medical profession, first thing to do is stop the bleeding. Well, in this case, you need to stop the income of these metal-bearing foods and put them on a diet that would actually eliminate those metals and things from their diet coming in. When you stop that from coming in, then you're commanding these things to leave the body. And if you can add in regular fasting to that, maybe once a week, maybe 2 days a week max, especially for children, you want to be careful how you do that. But if you allow them to fast in those areas and you stop the influx of it, then you should start seeing very marked differences in their behavior as these things start to leave their body.